Hello, everyone. Today is September 10th, 2024. And for this subject, it is about the current election. Getting ready, go out and vote, all those kinds of things. So supposedly, early on today, is what I've heard. Some can be misinformation, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's actually the truth. But I actually saw this video on a short. All right, I'll post a link in the description about this guy that I always see. Now, I'm not hating on him because he has a supportive view of Kamala Harris. All right, but he claims to say that he thinks the election will be rigged again. And what are the chances of that actually happening? Well, if it can happen the first time, where you can actually make a scenario look real, but it's not as bad as you think. Because as a person who had COVID, this is COVID I'm talking about, during the time when the elections were happening in there, that everything was remote, everything was digital, and they actually send in, how do I say this? They actually send in ballots to you, how do I say this? To make sure that you actually, so that way, yes, dead people did technically vote. I would know because my grandmother was labeled as a conservative because as a family we're Republicans, so they know of like who you support. And they, basically they sent that in the mail telling us that, yeah, see, look, this is what she is and whatnot. But she wasn't around at that time. She wasn't. So it was obviously plain reasons that they use that for like, it doesn't matter if they claim to say, oh, well, it doesn't mean your family's Republican. We're just going to make you think that you're going to be voting for Republican. That doesn't mean that at all. You have no idea where your votes are coming from. You're just being told and whatnot to just sign out for him. Who do you think who's going to win? Who do you think you see best in office? That kind of thing. You don't know the process of what's going on besides the people that are actually doing it. So, and to answer my question, will the election be rigged again? No, it will not be rigged. They tried doing that. They tried to during this year. They tried getting illegal immigrants they are purposely letting in. They're not claiming this, they're just claiming to say that it was all Trump's doing, but then look at the border and look at the way Texas is handling it by National Guard. Without any border patrol, because they basically just gave him the green and said, all right, well, fuck you guys. We know that you're letting him in, and that's not okay, and you're giving all these free priorities, too, after being entered into the country. Okay, so New Hampshire gets to take a citizenship test for all students after high school, but anyone from the United States can be let in? Anyone. You don't have to be a threat or not to be let in. You still need to show some identification. I mean, that's just like entering a strip club. That's like entering, it's like entering I know it's a wrong place to put it, but it's like entering a bar, right? When you're 16 years old. Okay, but you can't get a drink because you have to be at that proper age depending on that state you live in. Let's just say the state that requires 18 or older. If you're not 18 or older, well, and you claim to say, yes, I am, where's the proof? Exactly. How can you prove that you are not much of a threat from outside a country that are here to cause problems without showing any identification? It's not racist for some people to claim to say that it is, to just, oh, well, that's so racist if we're just going to allow them in. That's so much dictatorship. No, it's not. That's not. Because imagine this. We have no proof on the guy. We don't know where he comes from. But then, I don't know. I guess that individual gets away with all the crimes that he wants to do, depending on that individual. Someone from foreign or not. Someone can be from foreign or not. And if they don't have any identification, well, then how are we going to catch the guy? How are we going to know who he is? How do we know his next move? Of course you don't. Because this is what I've learned. That some people just don't know what they want besides what these try-to politicians make a complaint about, acting like we could get rid of the issue by not having any sort of research whatsoever and what this could impact upon our country. No, because the country to themselves is nothing. The Constitution means nothing to them. The Bill of Rights mean nothing to them. And I know I could have been, now I know, and I'm just going to get out with a simple fact. Is the election going to be rigged? No, it's not. They tried it. It failed because some of the immigrants that are actually letting in are being given all this, yet they don't like the conditions. They want more. And then unfortunately their state is like, well, sorry, we can't give you any more. And of course that gets them all upset. So of course they're not going to want to vote for the person that they already completely let in. They're not going to do that. So that was another miserable fail. So what did they do next? So what are they going to do next? Well, if it's not going to be rigged, then I have a feeling they might arrange a court date. For Donald Trump for when they actually get closer to the elections. I know they're going to pull this cheap-ass move. I know they're going to do it. So when Trump is being claimed that he's winning, Trump has to be pulled into trial when the election is almost happening. Sorry, we can't announce the winner unless Trump is proven innocent. That kind of nonsense. If that's the part that they were going, then that means they were literally holding up. That might be the plan. They might actually hold him back. And you can't do that against anyone. They couldn't do that with Biden. They couldn't do that with Obama. They couldn't do that with Bush. So why is it Trump? Why is, out of all the candidates that could have been a somewhat of a threat, why is Trump draws the most attention? Well, it's plain obvious that he knows the truth. And he's running our country and he actually ran our country telling this kind of stuff, kind of exposing that our government's not all sunshine and flowers, because it never was to begin with. It never was. You were lied to, making you think that spending more is what you need and complaining more is what they want, because then that way they can control you with the politicians that they claim to say that they will be better for you. Turn out to be complete dog shit anyway, because we go to wars, there's still inflation. How? Like, how do you claim to say that, oh, we could fix it a little bit? And they do, but then it goes back to being completely shit afterwards. It's like they dropped down on our promise. And when some people claim to say, hey, you were supposed to fix that border. Hey, you were supposed to fix this. Why is it still happening? We did do it. Well, why isn't it still happening? I don't know. Why are you not working hard enough? Why are you not paying your taxes on time? Seriously? If this is the logic that some politicians want to make you follow, because they want to make you think, oh, it's not their fault that the country's running like shit. It's obviously your guys' fault for believing right-wing extremist social media and whatnot. Now, that could be the case. You got to do your research about what side you're joining. I don't have a side of what I'm joining. I just see what's more I see what fits more in the office. And that's obviously Trump. He's a businessman. He obviously is, and they don't like that. They don't want what the government wants is not people who break away from following the orders. Even though following orders is not always a bad thing. It's not always. But being a president is because unfortunately they forgot that it was we the people are the most powerful people. The government and the way they and the way they control your politicians make you think that, make you think that they're all good. They make you promises. They have a plan. And if they can still continue doing this nonsense, like making Kamala Harris think that she's going to be the best president because she's a woman of color and whatnot. Like I said, I don't care if our president was transgender, can he be Russian, Indian, American, man or woman. I wouldn't care if there were any of those. I just want to make sure that this president actually knows what they're doing. And unfortunately, Kamala's not the pick. Like, who obviously voted for her? Nobody. But you think anybody wanted to vote for Biden? No. They knew he was useless to begin with. They knew it. Like, they obviously knew to begin with that he was useless. They just had to find a way to rig the vote so that way they see someone who was already winning in second place and putting a lot of attention to, claiming to say, oh, no, guys, he won. All right, Biden, what are you going to do? Today we're going to, yeah, see? He didn't know exactly what he needed to do at the start. He just been told to. That's unfortunate. It really is. It's unfortunate that they keep on doing this to people that they can control. And now you don't hear from Biden anymore. You don't hear from that guy. And I know for some people who are Trump supporters, some Trump supporters who really not care about this guy, I don't care about him either. And some of you may say, well, good, because he's a Democrat. I don't like this. Well, he's a Democrat. He's an idiot. Like, who cares about him anymore? But you have to understand that this was plain obvious reason and making a valid point that someone was actually behind the scenes, controlling him. Is Kamala probably one of them? Yeah, I believe she was. I also believe there were some really powerful rich people in there that are telling him what to do too, by getting through the president. You really think Barack Obama would have been a good choice now? No. He's a puppet. And how do I say this? I was about to say that he claimed to be having a third term, but that was more of like a show, like a parody show. So, no, I know, I'm very aware that he can't be running for third term. Unless he thinks that he can, then you're completely dog shit, because we have not had third terms ever since. This isn't fucking Russia where every president gets to win all the time. We're not doing that. And I have a feeling, right? This year, Kamala will win. And how are they going to do it? Not by rigging the votes, but by holding Trump back and claiming to say, no, he did something wrong. Sorry. No, this is a moment where it becomes so catastrophic, because it's obviously done by a plain reason. Because once Kamala wins, Trump's cases gets dropped, and they claim to say, oh, sorry guys, I thought we had something on him, but I guess we didn't. So sorry. So if they don't want to make it obvious, they could always just throw him in jail, which is plain obvious of what they're really trying to invoke right now. They are trying to invoke a second civil war, and they've been talking about it too. It doesn't matter which side. Both sides have been talking about it. It hasn't been brought up recently, but this is an issue. Things like this should not be talked about. We should be talking about how to deal with these kinds of situations, instead of just talking about, oh man, she's not great for this country. No, that's not what they need, because it's a distraction of what this country really needs. What this country really needs is a leader who can actually negotiate with people who have weapons like we do, that could be that could cause potential damage in our country. We do not need to go into any wars. We should be evading wars. Oh, but if your next president, like Kamala Harris, is going to win, and she gets brainwashed into thinking, guys, we're going to make you think that we're going to deal with the Putin situation, but the entire time, you're not going to think about it whatsoever. You're going to completely go drop the fact that, okay, we're going to make our promise by fixing the inflation rate. Yeah, fucking right. They will do it to begin with. They will fix it, but then eventually will slowly become worse again. Why will it become worse again? It's because they actually affect it a little bit, and then they actually ruin it. Why is that? Because they're spending more money than they should. Because when they've been talking about, oh, well, where's all that money going? Well, you probably have to look at it. Is there conflicts going on that we're getting involved in? Well, yeah. Like a potential risk of Iran being involved, a potential risk that China will actually invade Taiwan, a potential risk that we would actually enter in a new world war. Please. Like, we need presidents that could deal with that. Not that we could deal with the little stuff later. I mean, yes. But what about the people itself? Okay, because some of us are just sick of the fact that we can no longer trust our government anymore. And let's face it, some of us can't. I mean, I don't, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm aware. So why do I still live it? Well, I'm just waiting for that right moment where they rig it again, where it's just so plain obvious that our way of our government, the way it claims to be a capitalist democracy, whatever it is, and that turns out to be a socialist communism country, then I drop whatever I'm doing and just live the life how I want it. If they claim to say, well, you have to live by these rules, sorry, you can't. You can't have any of this because it's government law. Yeah, sorry. That doesn't apply to the Second Amendment. Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, because can you remember any of them that says that? Yeah, you can't, because it's just not there. So, which they know plain obvious what it means. They know plain obvious, and this affects everything. The government has no authority over the people, and somehow they get to choose on who runs an office. They're going to pick automatically for you once they make this distraction, they won't do it. Yeah, I know I'm completely wrong, but I'm over exaggerating a little. The government will not make you choose, will not automatically pick it for you. They will obviously trick you into thinking that you should vote this person more. I'm talking about Kamala. This person more because she's more promising and she's a woman, while Trump is in prison, and people will still vote, but where are all these votes coming from? Obviously, it's not coming from the people who actually, how do I say this? Well, it's not obviously coming from the people that obviously didn't vote for Kamala Harris to begin with. Oh, it says, oh, but look at that polls. Kamala is winning. Oh, man. And Trump is in prison? Is that the guy you want to go for? He's obviously facing some felony. And if you guys think this is just like your media's whatever, it's Republican or Democrat, if it's a Rhino media or a Democratic or a Republican, whatever, and they claim to say, it says, well, if you start voting for this guy, that means you're just as sick as everybody else says. You want to vote for a criminal. You want to have a criminal in your office and you want to have a dictator? Seriously, is this the guy you want to vote for? Man, you're sick in the head if you think. And some of us would be sick in the head to make you think that Kamala would be a great choice because she's a woman. That's not the reason whatsoever. I swear, if someone brings up the fact that, because it would be great for Kamala, because it would be great for her country, because she would be the first female president. If Trump eventually wins and then there's no more Trump whatsoever, I wouldn't mind having someone next in office who is a woman. But right now, Kamala just can't be a choice right now. I mean, she is obviously winning. It has to be a fair election. But in my opinion, she's an idiot. She obviously is controlled. She's being told on what to say. And most of her stuff that she says is not very promising. She sounds exactly how, what Biden would say. Something about Barack Obama would say. Something how Bush would say. So what makes Trump different? Well, because during the time when he was actually running against Hillary Clinton, he went up and just says straight up that they use this trick that every rich person follow, and just tricking a lot of people. And he admits that too, because he was the one who did it too. So he's finally coming out of that moment. But didn't he just admit to a crime? Is that what he's saying? Yeah, if he did commit to a crime, and I feel like he should have served that time for the moment. But if they're getting him over these other reasons as well, then that's very hypocritical if you think about it. If they're claiming to say, well, Trump did this, Trump did that, all these tax fraud shit, okay, but Hillary's not going to get checked, neither is Barack Obama, neither is all the other people that follow along the same system. No one's going to get investigated but Trump. That is plain obvious reason that someone was falling out of the very powerful people's line, and they don't like that because he's not easy to manipulate. And they claim to say, yeah, Trump's a bad person, guys, so don't be voting for him. They're trying to make you think that, well, whatever's happening at the moment, I'm sensing that they will potentially hold Trump back purposely. It's plain obvious that they will. I know for some people who claim to say, have you heard of some news information about the National Guard might actually take Trump away and put him in prison themselves? I don't understand why the National Guard would. I mean, unless it's a big move that they're pulling and they're officially going to pull the plug and say, you know what, fuck this country. They said, fuck the country and its rules and the Constitution that's what made America. We're going to become a whole new world order in front of you, and we're just not going to give a shit what you vote for anymore. It's just because that's their whole goal. They don't want they want to make you think, they want to brainwash you still. They're not going to make it plain obvious in front of you, but let's just say that's the case. They will unplug it, break the rules a little bit, and just say, yeah, sorry, guys, Trump's not running because we say we did. And even though that's what you voted for, sorry, he's a criminal. Okay? Cool. If he is a criminal, he's a criminal, but if he's not thrown in jail, if he wasn't thrown in jail before, why was he being thrown in jail now? It's so obvious. It's very much obvious because you would trust that your own judicial government would do the right thing. But they haven't because they know it's full of shit. They know it. So it's going to be plain obvious once they actually arrange something. They're not going to let Trump off the leash and claim, and they're not going to let him win. They're not going to. I know for some people may claim to say, that they might actually do it intentionally, just so once he went into office, they could always pinpoint shit that eventually the very powerful people will do, and then they will pinpoint that on him to make him look bad. Well, they always been trying to make him look bad ever since he was in office. Black Lives Matter acting like, oh, Trump did that. Oh, the whole state shut down. Yeah, he did it. No, he didn't order it. It was the state's decisions. Even fucking Chris Sununu. You fucking, like, I'm going to admit this in front of you, in front of Chris Sununu, as a person that's a resident of New Hampshire. I do not trust any governor at the moment. I'm not saying that we should have some good governor, but governors at the point are just so full of shit. They act like they are the president and whatnot, but they're really not. They only just give out on what we need. They really do. Plus, they're also following orders as well. But, you would trust that they would put in the money for all the most businesses and the most important stuff. So why is that? Why are we tearing each other at the throat and complaining about the things are being so high? Well, you would trust that's your state's decision if they want everything so high or not. Well, they do it anyway because they know they get a lot in return. So, state governors are just full of shit at the moment. Some are presidents too. I do not want to see any sort of civil unrest that's happening, but there's going to. I have a feeling that it won't be this year. My thoughts are they're not going to be. I used to believe that there will be, but you got to look at it this way. The patterns of it, the way people are just now sick of the fact that, imagine this, that some people actually had predictions that when Trump almost got killed in the Pennsylvania rally, people think that if Trump actually died, there would be some sort of civil war. Well, yeah, they would, because eventually they would choose Kamala Harris to become president. Some people claim to say, no, well, there necessarily would not be anyway. So, no, there just wouldn't be. Well, apparently she would, because she would have won the race. But it's just so obvious but it would just be very obvious at that moment, like, why Trump would die if he really did. And I would not wish him to die at all. I do not wish Kamala Harris to die at all. I do not wish for Biden to die at all. I do not wish for any of these politicians to die at all. What I'm just saying, it is so plain obvious of what they're trying to set up here. They're making, and then, yeah, the debate, it's supposed to happen either today or tomorrow, so I hear, about the debate against, Trump versus Kamala, and he claims to say that, oh, well, they're going to rig it again, ABC News. You understand, all news channels, depending on the state that you're in and why you support that person anyway, is basically just what the government wants you to do. Everything's rigged. Everything. Both sides are. Both sides are doing it. And they're claiming to say, and all these Republicans who claim to say that they're part of Trump, they're not part of Trump. Let's face it, some of them may be fucking rhinos. And claiming to say, oh, well, we stand for Trump. We will do whatever we can to stay and whatnot. Yeah, fucking right. You will not do shit. You're a pansy. Some of them are pansies. They don't own guns themselves. I know there's this one woman, but I don't like the look of her face. I don't care. She's like this blonde-haired Republican. She could be Republican or a rhino. I have no idea. But some people like to claim to say that, like, oh, well, Trump over-exaggerates the truth a little bit. Okay, well, yeah, he does over-exaggerate because he doesn't understand. He could be right that they could do it. There's actually potential risk that they could. But you have to understand, Trump isn't wrong here. They won't intentionally try to rig him. They won't try to. They tried it. They tried to do that with the allowing illegal immigrants and giving them all these, like, rights and voting and whatnot. But yet they're not happy with the conditions that they're living because we rarely ever give anything to them in return. Which we promised them, hey, which I don't think it was intentional of what they were trying to go for. But they were really trying to hope that, well, since it was under the name of president, I mean, you could be living like this just as long as you vote for this person. We'll give you that right. I mean, you enter America due to this president. Would you want to vote for this guy? I want to vote for this guy. I mean, I got some good housing. Yeah, for free, while everybody else had to be stuck paying taxes and paying for high price, like, groceries. Some of the American citizens. are doing that, which is ridiculous. Some of them are being given for free. Is obviously plain lazy, or you just came in here. Some of them came here illegally. But yeah, some people are just claiming to say like, that Trump is wrong when they say, what is it? Well, it's ridiculous how Trump. Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit ridiculous how he thinks that everything's going to be rigged. It's not going to be rigged. It's obviously going to be held back. They're obviously going to plan something. It's plain obvious that it's going to be revealed something. I know for some people may claim to say, he says, well, you can't prove that. You can't prove that they'll do anything. Can you prove that they won't do it? Well, I mean, look at the polls. Are you just going to believe what the television tells you? I mean, depending on your news channel that they said, depending if you're a Kamala supporter or not, they said Biden's a good choice. So why isn't he running? I don't know. I mean, Biden is old and that's not what we need. Okay, but you believe that nonsense? And some of them believe that nonsense? Oh, you're going to believe what you see on the TV. Okay, sure. Do your research. Quit believing what these people do. It's propaganda. That's all it is. It's obviously a scare tactic to make you think that, oh no, my favorite president isn't winning. It's obviously it's plain reason that they're doing that. They're going to, they won't rig it. They're obviously going to hold him back. They're going to. It's not fair election either if people claim to say like, well, Trump should be like held back and whatnot because he's a criminal. Ridiculous. Do your research and why. Just, well, Trump said this and whatnot. Okay, do you think he would have been in jail by now? Why isn't he? Because he's protected by very powerful people and lawyers. Oh, but even those very powerful people, they claim, even though those powerful people, they still find ways to get out of that. They still do. They claim to say that Trump controls the government. Yeah, some people going to say Trump controls the government. Yeah, fucking right. No, he doesn't. He's a president. Well, he was president. Now he's running. He doesn't have authority over that. I wouldn't like that if he was running our country, if he was in charge of our country. But that's what some people are rumored to say. Oh, he's going to become a dictator, because I think I understand why they're comparing to a dictator, because he makes friends with dictator/communist countries. Which that's what we need. We need friendship. I don't care if NATO is just an ally. We need to also make friends with our enemies as well. Stop acting like, he says, but we shouldn't because they're very bad people. Look at the way they're treating them. Okay, we don't spread it. Okay, but that's their own government. If the people want to stand for themselves, then they'll do it. But they're so brainwashed, so we can't. So you want to spread your propaganda onto others? That obviously doesn't sound like dictatorship. That's obviously not spreading this certain government onto others. That's ridiculous. They want you to do that. They want you to believe that we should stop making friends and still believe in that Cold War endless nonsense. Oh, well, and they'll claim, and some of these politicians and your news media will claim to say, no, we shouldn't be friends with them. Someone will claim to say, well, no, we shouldn't be friends with them because of what they do and what they done before is very unfair. So Trump having to become friends with them is a no-go. And that's obvious. And people only become friends with it if they're under some negotiation. I'm not saying negotiations are bad. Some of us have to be smart enough to just not let their influence into our country. It's obviously plain reason. It's obviously plain obvious that some people are just claiming to say that, oh, he's a Republican and he says, oh, he's a dictator because he's making friends with enemies. Well, no, that Cold War drama needs to end. It should have been. Trump ended it to begin with because he had them on, because he had them on the leash. He knew if they stepped on a line, he wouldn't be afraid to take matters in his own hands. He's not afraid. But unfortunately, when Biden going, oh no, all the dogs are let loose, they're doing harmful things, and we claim to say, no, that was Trump's doing. No, because you broke the treaty. You broke the way that our government was finally getting ourselves done and over with, but still we got ourselves in another situation. He said, oh, well, Putin's a very bad leader. Oh, I wonder why. He said, oh, yeah, well, Trump. Oh, he said, yeah. Sorry, not Trump. Yeah, Putin is a bad leader, but are you going to do anything about it? Well, yeah, because we're going to provide weapons to Ukraine. Okay, but wasn't NATO playing a fair share? Why is it just us? Well, because we provide the better tech. Are you saying that NATO is no good than we are? No, that's not what we're saying at all. Okay, then let NATO pay for them. Why are we just having to pay for it? Even though they claim to say, oh, inflation's so bad and whatnot, so why are we still giving them money if inflation was so bad? Why are we still doing that? Oh, because inflation is just bullshit. It's real. Don't get me wrong, it's real. But we print so much money that it's also impossible for some of these politicians to claim to say, oh, we're going broke, guys. Yeah, fucking right. They make millions upon millions. And the only people that are going broke is the people who can't make as much as they do. And if you could try, well, you need to sell your soul a little bit, is what I say. Learn to give in and follow the rest of the pack, you know? Try to chase that single dollar when they try to make you, oh, but you're so helpless. You're going to do anything for this dollar. Unfortunately, that's the mindset of America at this moment. And this is why I see ourselves actually tearing each other apart, because of influence that our own government allows it to happen. But anyway, I know I was ranting about a lot of things, but to officially just state it, the elections will not get right. I have a feeling that they will hold Trump back. It's going to be obvious that they're going to do something. If they're not going to hold back, they're going to do something. They're not just going to let Trump off. They're not going to let Trump win. I know that. I know they're not going to let him win. They're trying to, some are trying to say that we should get ourselves into another lockdown because there's this new virus. Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, right. No one believes that nonsense. But Kamala said it, guys, and we advise that you do it because she says it. Oh, because some president tells the authority over us? Oh, you're right. I know you guys won't listen to that. That's why your state governors will let the jobs know that you need to get vaccinated again. Yeah, see, when governors play a part in shutting it down, they claim to say, oh, we're just doing it for the people. Those governors don't speak for me. Those, governments don't speak for me. They help us. They don't speak for us. It's ridiculous. But other than that, how do I say this? I know I've been ranting on a lot of things, but I do want to say is that go vote whoever you want to vote for, whenever it's Republican or Democrat or a new political party that JFK wanted to create, We the People. You vote whoever you feel like. Just as long as the elections have to be fair, but it's plain obvious that they're not making it fair. It's plain obvious. They're going to do something. If it's not rigging it, because I know they won't. That's not their plan. They tried. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay smart, stay curious, all those kinds of things. I'll keep you posted about some other videos if anything decides to show up. Thank you so much, because thank you guys. And I will say this again, I am over at 200 subscribers, and that was all thanks to you guys. Really, and I will continue to say it. I always will. Always. I'm not going to take myself for saying, oh, guys, look what I did. You think I made 200 views? No. Nobody did. All I did was just talk in front of a camera. And all it did was help you guys. And all you did was you guys to help me get noticed. And I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm not saying I don't want any subscribers, really. Really, I'm just looking for some of your guys' attention, so that way some of you actually get an understanding. Or if you don't completely agree with me, you could always comment in the chat or whatnot. But other than that, thank you guys so much. And having it go vote if you are voting. If you're not voting, then I suppose wait till at that age you're gonna be able to vote. But other than that, thank you guys.